So as we start on the back, before you bend up the knees, I invite you to lie flat. This is your posture without gravity compressing you from above. And first, just notice if the chin does pull away from the chest, maybe the shoulders are poking up a little bit. That is just a little hint that we may have a slightly forward head posture, which means you might want to slide a blanket or a small pillow under your head, allowing the back of the neck to release and the shoulders to soften down towards the floor. Notice also if one of your butt cheeks lays flatter than the other. Does one knee lay higher than the other? So these are the hip flexors we are just addressing. The side that lays flatter may be the side with less tension on it, but you may also have a rotation in the spine that's causing this sensation. So first order is to understand, how does my body feel? Sensing. From awareness, we can begin to change these neural pathways. We'll bend up the knees and place the hands on the belly. So this work is as much about what happens in the motor cortex as it is what happens in our physical body. When we begin to use other movement patterns instead of the ones that our bodies were initially designed to do, the compensatory movement patterns, and I invite you to just gently breathe in and out of your belly, make the out breath a little bit longer. Can you squeeze out a little bit more? So I'll circle back to what I was describing, the compensatory movement patterns. I was describing this to a student today because he said, I just can't feel it. I cannot feel it. Why can't we just work on my flexibility? And I finally used my tree behind me. I said, like, this is a city map. And there was construction on one of the streets, so you started driving a different route. The construction is long done, but you're still driving that different route. You completely stopped using the first one. So as far as your mind goes, that one no longer exists. But you're driving twice as far to get to where you need to go. And if there's construction there, you're going to do another further out. And so it keeps going, it keeps going. So when we reestablish our movement patterns, go back to the easy way. This is about being easy, not hard. So remember, gentle effort, but no strain. So as you breathe in, the belly expands. That shows us that the diaphragm engages, it contracts. And as you relax, the belly softens down. Make it easy. Breathing in and out through the nose. This may feel a little strained initially, but it further facilitates this release and supporting the rewiring of our nervous system. Now on the next in-breath, let's arch the low back. So contract the muscles on the back. And as you exhale, slowly float back to neutral as slowly as you can. And that may take more than one breath. Not dumping the movement. So we work a little backwards with this. Take a breath in. And the next in-breath will arch again. arch. Feel the muscles contract on the low back, and you can slide your hands down to the front of your hip groins. And if you're contracting the hip flexors, that means you have a compensatory movement pattern. One more time on the in-breath, arch, keep the front groins soft. They are on vacation. And exhale, slowly release. Back to neutral. So that's for the restricted low back, where we get stuck. The tone is too high. Tending to the belly. Take a breath in. And exhale, flattening. And then slowly release back to neutral. And breath in for nothing. And exhale, flattening again, hollow out the belly. And if you move your hands back up to the abdomen, you can feel the belly drawing away from the palms of the hands. And slowly release. Let's take a full breath in and out. We'll do it one more time. Breath in for nothing. And exhale, flatten. Hollow out the belly. So this is an important part of this, so that we get all of these lower abdominal muscles releasing. Now let's put these two together. Inhaling an arch. Back contracts. We float back to neutral. Breath in for nothing. And exhale, flattening, hollowing out. Slowly release. Buffer breath. That's the extra move. Get everything pulling back to neutral. And we do it again. On your next in-breath, arch. Feel the muscles contracting on the back. And if you noticed your hip flexors were firing, you can take a hand down on one side. Back at neutral, we take a breath in for nothing. And exhale, hollow out the belly. And slowly release. Easy breath. Let's slide the legs out. And just notice the breath. And then here, let's take the knees up again. Make sure I'm following the order. Diagonal, arch, and curl. Skipping right over the arch and curl. Let's take the left leg in. Hold the left knee. And take your right arm behind the head. We start again with the inhalation and arching. Exhale, flattening, now curling up diagonally, right elbow, left knee, and slowly releasing back. Buffer breath. And again, inhaling, arch. Not going to go very far because you're holding onto the leg. Exhale. Flatten, knee pulls in, and we drop diagonally. Not a big lift. Get as much rotation as is available without strain. Keyword, without strain. Buffer breath again. One more time, arch. Exhale, move right into the diagonal curl. Feel the muscles contract, check. And then slowly unwinding back. And once down, let's release the left leg. Release the right hand from under the head. We're breathing in and out. Gentle belly breath. Does the lower belly, if you split in half, left side, right side, does one side feel different from the other? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Let's take the right knee in. And we go at it again. Inhale, let's arch. Muscles contracting on the back. Exhale, flattening and curling up diagonally. And slowly unwind. Releasing the obliques back to neutral. Buffer breath. Again. On the next in breath, arch. Exhale, flatten. Curling up diagonally. And slowly returning home. That's the magic. The brain goes, oh, those. We're going to do it one more time. Inhale, arch. Exhale, flatten and curling up. And slowly unwinding. Release the right leg down. Slide the legs out. And feel. Body and breath. We're now ready to come onto our back lift. So we're going to come all the way onto the belly. And this is the one, we're just going to go right into it. Your right arm up under your left cheek, left arm down alongside the left hip. And on the next in-breath, lifting your right arm, head, and left leg. Lifting, diagonal, right arm, left leg. And slowly lowering down. Buffer breath. On an in-breath, lifting again. And maybe add a little bit of rotation, peeking out under your right elbow. And slowly lowering back down. Buffer breath. Everything quiets down. We're ready for the last one. Lifting, maybe with rotation. And releasing down. And then press the right forearm down. Lift the head, take the left arm up and switch it out. Letting your left temple or cheek rest on your right arm. Sorry, I had it backwards. You're doing opposite of what you did before. When you inhale, let's lift, arm, and opposite leg. Slowly lowering down. Buffer breath. And again, lifting up, maybe looking out under the elbow. And slowly lowering down. Buffer breath. One more time. Lifting up. And lowering down. Pausing here. And then from here, moving right on to the side curl. So I'm going to invite you to come on to your right side and bend up your knees. I'm going to mute out just for a second while I yell at my husband to close the door to the TV room. And I'm back. Oh. Let's try that again. Everybody works at home. Now, we'll break this one up tonight. I'm laying on my side, supporting my head with my floor arm. Legs are bent up at the 90 degree. And that's crucial because otherwise we begin to use the hamstrings, the back of the thighs instead of the waist, which is the one we really want. Take your top arm onto your waist. That way we can check that these muscles are actually turning on. Let's take a breath in for nothing. And as you exhale, lift the top leg up. Keep the knees together. And then slowly release the foot down. Take a buffer breath. A breath in for nothing. And we lift again, lifting the foot. So we feel the muscle engage. Now we start the retraining. As slowly as you can, lower the leg down. Changing the resting tone on the muscle. So if there are jumps and jitters in the release, that tells us, oh, I got a little tension. Take a breath again for nothing. And then on the next out breath, we contract again. Lifting up like a door swinging open. Muscle engaged, check. And then slow and even release. Is your bottom hip firing, trying to help out? Let's take the arm overhead, top arm, and put the headband on. And if this is uncomfortable, remember you can take the arm out in front too, and then do the movement. This helps keep the weight of the head a non-issue. You can also choose to skip the head altogether. We're going to add this to the leg movement. So let's take a breath in for nothing. And exhale, lift the heel, lift the head. So now ribs towards hips, hips towards ribs. Slowly releasing down. Buffer breath. And again, breath for nothing. And exhale, lifting. Feel the contraction. And then feel it fading away. Slow and easy. The motor nerves fires from the brain to the muscle, sensory nerve from the muscle back to the brain. Do that one more time because we'll only do it 3 times. I get talking. We did it. I'm looking. You said 2, Robin? All right, we should do it one more time. We got the 3 on. So one more time when you're ready. And then slowly release. Now slide the hand behind the head. And if your arm is not up high, slide a pillow behind the head. So we're rolling into the twist. That becomes our starting point. My legs are still in the same direction. My knees have sheared a little bit, not a biggie. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, we're going to rotate back towards where we started, and then side curl again. And then slowly lowering back down. And yes, you can absolutely add the leg here. Releasing out. I tend to not, because that can add too much things. But we're doing the upper part. Let's take a breath in for nothing. And as you exhale, derotate. And then ribs towards hips. And slowly releasing back out again. Nose towards the sky. Buffer breath. On the out breath, derotate. Ribs to hips. And slowly and easy, releasing back out. And from here, with as little effort as possible, come onto your back. Breathing in and out. Toggle your awareness from one side of your body to the other. What's different? And we return, or we roll over onto the other side. Mm-hmm. Again, 90, angle at the knee, 90 at the hip, and it's hard to see. It's like, okay. Hand on the waist, and we start with the legs. Breath in for nothing, and exhale, lifting the leg, hip hikes up towards the ribs, and slowly releasing down. Take a full breath in and out. That helps the muscle tone drop down a wee bit more. Breath in for nothing. And exhale. Contract and lift. And slowly lowering back down. Buffer breath. And again. Exhaling and lifting. And then slowly notice those bumps and jitters when you slow it down. There's some kinks in the wire. We'll put the headband on, top arm wraps around or it's out in front, adding the head lift, breath in for nothing and exhale, heel and head. And slowly lowering down. Buffer breath. And exhale, heel and head. Releasing down. Buffer breath. One more time. On the out breath, contract. Does the movement change as you repeat it? So the mind wanders off. The more you can keep your mind on the sensations, the better connection, the better rewiring is taking place in the brain. We cannot engage what we don't have access to. Hand behind the head, rolling onto the back. Take your forearm out straight in front of you. Breath in for nothing. And exhale. De-rotate. Ribs to hips. And slowly releasing. Back out again. Buffer breath. Breath in for nothing. And repeat. De-rotate. Muscles contracting. And slowly releasing. Full breath in and out. Last one. The out breath takes us up. And releasing back out. Sliding the legs long again with as little effort as possible. Come on to the back. Straighten the legs out. And feel. Maybe you feel you're laying a little flatter. Maybe you feel absolutely no change. What you feel is what you feel. And sometimes we don't even know what we feel. Let's bend up the knees again. And work with some of the hip movements. The first one, hip hiking. Same what we did, but now instead of working with gravity as we did before, different plane. Draw your right hip up towards the right shoulder. And then let that go. It's like your pelvis is a little lazy Susan. Good thing there are no Susans in class. Draw the hip up as you exhale. Slowly release. And who was lazy Susan anyway? One more time. Draw the right hip up towards the ribs and then slowly release. Switching to the other side. Left hip cross up. And you can place your hands on your front pelvis bumps, and that will tell you if they are sliding. Left hip slides up. Slowly releasing down. One more time, sliding up, contract. And releasing.
Anne, I have a question about this one.
Yes, Sally.
Are we sliding it up on the same plane, like we're just contracting our waist, or
Yeah.
are we bringing it up toward, straight up?
Thank you for asking. We are right now, it's the Lazy Susan going this way, but we are actually doing the next one.
Okay.
So
Okay, I thought that was right.
Yeah, I'm to clarifying. So this one here is in a horizontal plane, the one we just did. The next one is going to be in the vertical plane. Make sense? Thank you. And so we start with the right hip pelvis complex again, pushing it into the floor, and then slowly release. Let's do that again. Push the right hip into the floor, and then releasing. So you feel, instead of being centered on the sacrum, as you press the hip down, you're coming more to the right side of the sacrum. So you're only engaging your right psoas. Let's do that on the left. Pressing the left hip down. Slowly release. So paying attention to, as you repeat, does the left side feel like the right? And slowly release. Is it smooth and even, or is there some hesitation in the execution? I think we're ready to put these two together. Starting by drawing your right hip up towards the shoulder. Press your left hip down. That will lift the right. Pull the left hip up so the right hip moves away. We're making a big circle with the hips, like the wheel on, or the pedals on a bike or on a locomotive. The hips move opposite of one another. So I am right dominant. So when I focus on my right hip, drawing circles clockwise, if my clock was hanging on the wall, yeah, that's not too bad. But now I'm going to shift my awareness to my left hip and ask that one to make the same circles as the right. And it is a little bit hesitant. It is just not used to being called on as frequently as my right hip. So our dominant side, we have typically a higher muscle tone, and we have easier access to it. And for you, not sure what I'm saying, just brush your teeth with your other hand tonight. And your body's like, who don't want it? All right, switch directions. Go backwards. moving the hips backwards. And again, you can start with the focus on the dominant side. It's a little easier. Little easier. Maybe. It's like walking backwards. And now switch your awareness to your non-dominant side. Can you make that smooth and easy and even as you draw these vertical circles with your hips? And then letting that go, sliding the legs out, and pause. As you breathe in and out, noticing the breath in your lower belly. Is it maybe feeling a little fuller, easier than when we started? Let's bend up the knees again. Now we're really going to put it all together. For the pelvic clock, getting the whole solar plexus moving. So imagine a belly button. Imagine a marble in your belly button. And then rolling that marble to 12 o'clock. So that's towards the sternum as I orient at the top. So that's a flattening. Now I'm going to roll the marble out to 3 o'clock. That's my left hip. I'm going to follow the rim of this big clock as I roll the marble along the rim up to 12 o'clock again. And I'm just going back and forth between 3 and 12 o'clock. So the knees are staying relatively still here. This is a hip movement. So if your knees have a lot of swagger, invite them to be still and move the hips instead. As you come up to 12, roll the marble back into the belly button. Take a breath in and out. And now inhale, roll the marble to 6 o'clock. So that's an arch. And then from 6 o'clock up to 3. Back down to 6. So just one quadrant, back and forth. Don't make it hard. Let's pay attention. The mind will wander off, and suddenly we are just sort of rocking back and forth, but not quite sure where we are. As you come back down to 6 o'clock, you're going to roll the marble back to the belly button. Pausing. We'll sweep the whole side. Let's roll the marble up to 12, down to 3, to 6, back through 3, to 12. The sweeping, rolling the marble around half of your great big clock dial. That one more time. We're back up at 12. Let that go. Pausing. Slide the legs out. I love taking these little pauses and sense what changed. Because we can become just floating heads where we'd lose access to our bodies. What's different on your left waist compared to the right? Maybe nothing. And that's perfectly fine. Let's bend up the knees again. Marble back in the belly button. And roll it up to 12 o'clock. So that's the flattening. And then down to 9 o'clock. And just follow your rhythm from 9 to 12. Roll the marble back and forth. Easy. Paying attention where the rim is not quite round. Again, notice if the knees are moving a lot. Bring the movement back into the waist. And as you come up to 12, roll it back into the belly button. And then roll the marble down to 6. And we'll sweep now. 6 to 9. If you know that you notice a difference now between the left and the right side. If the right side is your easy side, the left was the less willing. Starting on the right side, you can turn the whole clock dial around so that you still get every quadrant, but always start on the easy side, not the side that needs a refresher. Next time you're back at 6, rolling the marble back into 12. And then let's roll it up to 12 and sweep the whole side. 9, 6, back through 9, up to 12, smooth and easy. So the waist is all in the waist. Embracing your inner hula girl. And then next time you're up at 12, continue all the way around. 3, 6, 9. One more time, take it all the way around. And then reverse the direction. Counterclockwise. Is that as easy as clockwise? Maybe it's easier. Or maybe there are more jumps and jiggers with that one. Not jiggers, but just those jiggers. You come back up and belly button has the marble again. And we slide the legs up. That one can be really challenging because it's asking us to isolate our core muscles from side to side. And we don't do that very often, except when we do this. Now, next one is our washcloth. So we'll take the arms out to the side. We haven't done this in a bit. Let's start with the arms first, rolling the arms back and rolling them towards the feet. Like great big cake pins, rolling back and forth. So as the arms are rolling back, the shoulders draws towards the floor. And as the arms are rolling towards the feet, the shoulders are popping up. And we are ready to step it up. Let's roll the right arm towards the head, left arm towards the feet. And then switch. Back and forth. Turning the head, looking at the arm that's rolling up. Back and forth. And last, we add the legs. So next time you're turning the head to the right, palm is up, let's drop the knees to the left. And exhale up to center. Inhale to the other side. Reverse or switching the arm movement along with the legs. So the arms just keeps going. The arm that I'm looking at is rolling up, meaning that shoulder goes towards the floor. My nose is opposite of my knees. An easy and gentle rhythm. Back and forth. Unsticking it all. And then next time you come back up to neutral, slide the legs out. And pause. How does your body feel compared to when we started? Sliding the arms up a wee bit higher. This is called a big X. So there's a big hint right there to what this one does. Starting with the right leg, pressing it out. Heel presses out and then let it go. Stretch out through your right hand, arm, and let it go. Left hand, fingers, arm. And then the left heel presses out. Now we'll add the hips to that and the ribs so if you get a little bit more movement. So now as you press out through the right heel, take the right hip down with you. And you get a little bit more reach. And then let it relax. Reach out through the right arm, but take the right ribs with you. And let that relax. Left arm and ribs pulls back. And we release and we get the whole fascial seam. Left heel and hip. Relaxing. Right leg again, reaching out. Hip follows, take it with you. Right arm, ribs. Relax, left. Let the head just roll however it rolls. And left foot and leg. Just a lazy walkabout. This big X of your body. Increasing your range of movement. Right arm, left leg, right leg. One more time around. We'll finish at the left leg. And then taking the legs together. Interlace the fingers. Take the palms towards the sky. Consolidate the legs. And extend the arms overhead. Reaching out through the heels, reaching out through the palms. We'll take the arms up, switch the interlace, palms towards the sky. And again, extend, reach. And let go. Release the hands. Pause. As you breathe in and out. Letting the body spend a little time in this place where you're changed in the habitual muscle tone. You just gave yourself a massage. And because you actually taught yourself to release, it will stay much longer than a massage. When it's a passive event, our bodies don't learn from it. Rather, our muscles will revert back to the tone they had probably within about 24 hours. My phone was going off. I apologize. So you will bend up the knees. Rock the knees gently from side to side and roll all the way over onto your side.